Let's go to our very first main story. The Private Enterprise Federation (PEF) has described the 11.17% increase in utility tariffs, electricity tariffs, as unacceptable. President of PEF, Nana Saibunsu, has warned that the hike in utility prices will further increase the cost of goods and services in the coming weeks. He's been speaking to Joy Business on the implications of this on the private sector.
Already, the cost of power is too high for private sector, and we've been complaining that nobody's going to make money if based upon the cost of energy as it is now. So to bring around another increases of in the tariffs is going to exacerbate the already precarious conditions of private sector businesses who are operating under heightened high cost of doing business. Previously, what the Federation had done was to engage government that before we grant any type of increases to the utilities or utility companies, let's go review or vet their cost structure. How much did it cost them to produce at the efficient level? When I say efficient level, meaning that if they need 2 people, why are they having 5? If they need 2 trucks, why do they have 10? So look at all these things and see that if the price or the cost of production is based upon an efficient application of the resources, then any increases that they request should be granted, because at that time, that is for cost recovery. But when they have excesses, waste in the system, and you grant them the additional tariff increases, you glorifying inefficiencies. And that is where we stand. That government should take independent group of inspectors or team.
First of all, you said it's going to affect the private sector. Is this going to emanate into a cost build-up, high increase in goods and services?
Well, every business is every investor is in a business to make money. So if my cost structure keep going up, what do? Price increases, and consumers are going to be the victims of the price increases. But as of now, businesses have not quantified or calculated this energy mix. It's just been announced as to how it's going to affect the cost structure. Definitely, they're not going to be able to absorb all the costs and make prices equitable as they are now.
Right, so there seems to be some mixed feelings here, because some stakeholders, energy stakeholders, are also lauding the efforts of the PURC to maintain the price hike. Meanwhile, engineers at Bui Power Authority say low charges power consumers pay for the power company's services is taking a toll on the revenue and operations. The power generating company produces hydropower to sustain the National Voltage Support and Stabilization Program. Bui Power Authority has started routine maintenance of its 3 units, which will cost an estimated $4.6 million. Plant manager engineer Ebu Amwa pleads with agencies and departments paying less for the consumption to start paying for the right power consumed. Prince Apia has more in this report.
The routine maintenance exercise involves inspecting, cleaning, and replacing damaged or worn-out parts. According to engineers, the dam is required to undergo major maintenance every 5 years, besides annual minor maintenance. An estimated $4.6 million will be spent on the work, including training of engineers at the dam site. The other 2 units will subsequently receive attention. Engineer Ebu Amwa is plant manager at Bui Power Authority.
The unit comprises of the generator, the turbine, the shaft, and all this. And so what we are saying is that we need to dismantle all this once and gradually inspect, and then, make sure that all the parts that we take are not damaged. It comes to a time when some of these parts are damaged. We've had experience within this time that we are doing the first unit. Springs breaking, bushings eroding. So when you do the inspections and then you need to purchase parts, it's money. If you have the money, why not? Within 2 days you have it, and then you get your parts going.
Management says low charges per consumers pay for the authority services are taking a toll on its revenues and operations.
But what we know is that Ghanaians take the power and then they pay less. Do you understand? Yes, they pay less. We sell to ECG and then the other the mines and all these big companies. If they are not paying, then how do you buy the parts? Do you get me? So that's what Ghanaians should understand, that we need the money to be able to buy these parts from outside to make power run.
Terrible.
Yeah, terrible. Because you give ECG 100% and they pay about 70.
Management looks to exceed production target of 660 gigawatts for 2019, having produced 460 gigawatts of power before half of the year. Operations Manager Justice Tre.
All the maintenance plan for the year has been factored in our generation plan. So we know that for three months, one unit to go down, another 3 months, the other unit to go down, and the third one will go for 3 months. So the plan has incorporated all these maintenance issues or schedules in the generation plan, and we arrived at the 660 gigawatt hours. And as I'm saying, even at the end of on the first part of the 6th month, we've done 460, which means we have 200. We are the outstanding 6 months. We are going to use to generate 200, and which we can do. I'm thinking that we even end up being more than 660 this year.
Operations Manager Justice Tre says the dam has the potential to sustain the national voltage support and stabilization program. Prince Apia reporting.
Well, so still sharing some views on the price hike, the electricity price tariff hike, energy analyst Kwajopoku seems to agree with the increase by the PURC. He shared his thoughts earlier on the marketplace.
The past, gas was $9 per MMBTU. It was reduced last year to 7.8. That was when we had the reduction which everybody was happy about. Now, going forward, government has further negotiated the $7.8 to $6.08. So those plants that are using gas, they are getting the gas cheaper. Now, one of the biggest burdens for the government was the capacity charge, which is a take or pay. Whether we use these power plants or we don't use them, there was a certain amount of money that government was to pay. Now, government has been able to get some of these companies like Car Power, like AXA, like Cinet, and Assortly to reduce the capacity charge. So the burden on government has also reduced. Now, taking all this into consideration, the savings that government has made looking at Car Power alone is over $500 million. When Car Power now moves from Tama to Takoradi, the savings even goes higher. So that is what has translated into the 11.17 that we see now. But if not for some of these mitigating factors from government, yes, it would have been 30%. But the industry will still be able to pay its bill. With this increase, why some of us were worried was that without the increase, the industry was suffering. Government couldn't pay bills. PBS is taxed with full recovery. And if you don't let them charge the realistic price, they will not be able to do the full recovery you want them to do. PURC took the demand from the utilities, then the mitigating factor of what the government has been able to save in regards to the capacity charge and the gas price. They put it in their computers, and PURC is confident that the 11.17 that they've announced will now present a realistic price.
Let's turn away from energy now. Trade sector players are calling on government to create an enabling environment for women entrepreneurs to thrive. Executive Director of the Africa Center for International Trade and Development, Isaac Arthur, says the export sector provides vast opportunities that women can take advantage of when they are sensitized. He was speaking at the two-day workshop where over 150 women gathered to share ideas on the way forward for women-owned businesses.
When our government signed these trade agreements, they are not able to disseminate the findings or the content, what it means. No research, in fact, is even done prior to signing these agreements for Ghanaian businesses to understand the implication of these agreements on their business activities. You know, if you take the Continental Free Trade, for instance, I mean, it's given 90% market access. You understand? So once you sign and you ratify, what that means that any African country that is a member, okay, can be able to access your markets. You get it? So if you don't put domestic policy in place to, you know, develop the productive capacity of your industries, I mean, you will have foreign products coming from other African countries that will come and collapse, you know, the local SMEs businesses. You know, so for us, it's a major issue for us, and we think it is time for the government to sensitize Ghanaians on some of these trade agreements. Okay, what are the opportunities in there for them?
National Coordinator for She Trades in the Commonwealth Project, Shari Juliana Hammond, says women face a lot of challenges when they venture into entrepreneurship.
Their challenges also is quality. So they would say it's hard to source quality material maybe from Ghana, so they have to import a lot, and import charges are very heavy on them. Also manufacturing locally. So we're trying to have them also better network amongst themselves, because we have in the room people who do manufacturing, people who do production, people who do fabrics, just having them know each other in the ecosystem and to improve the quality across the supply chain. So.
In other news, former managing director of the New Times Corporation, Carol Annan, is urging economic journalists to make an effort in getting a credible data on Ghana's small and medium enterprises in the country. This, she thinks, will help to improve the level of understanding in reporting activities on the sector. She made a call after addressing a stakeholder meeting with Bloomberg Africa on financial reporting.
The use of data for financial reporting is critical to the work of economic journalism. However, credible data in the explanation have often eluded many financial journalists. Data acquisition has sometimes become a major challenge for Ghanaian media. This necessitated a call for efforts in generating critical information from the SME sector, as it remains one of the pillars of the country's development growth. Former Managing Director of the New Times Corporation, Carol Annan, believes the media can obtain credible data to make their reportage more flexible for viewers and readers.
So it's important that we also make the effort, and we will start, we will fumble, but with time, as we use the data and people get informed and get educated and get enlightened and are able to make useful decisions from the data that we present, then it gives a credibility. So now when you are asking for the data, hopefully it will be a little easier.
Secretariat Director of Bloomberg Media Initiative in charge of the African Financial Journalism Training, Christine Mwangi, underscores the need for journalists to get more training on the financial sector.
We would like to see journalists who have analytical skills, people who who can interpret financial information and analyze it and explain it in a relatable way to the African population, to the African people, so that it can spur economic development, so that they can investigate corporate governance issues, issues related to the financial services sector, just to enhance transparency and good governance on the continent.
The meeting is to give media managers an update of the Bloomberg Financial Reporting Program, which began this year.
Now to other stories. The Food and Drugs Authority, FDA, has begun engaging with producers of alcoholic beverages to find an innovative way of marketing their products without attracting minors in society. This includes regulation on the use of artists and stars as brand ambassadors for their products being displayed in the mass media. Senior Regulatory Officer at the Food and Drugs Authority, Juliana Amankwa-Mafo, has been speaking with Joy Business at the sidelines of the Ghana Farmer Forum in Accra. Here's Ebenezer Sabuti's report.
Experts have warned the use of artists and music icons as brand ambassadors in advertising for the alcoholic beverages industry could have a negative impact on minors in society. One of the major reasons the Foods and Drugs Authority banned the airing of alcoholic beverage advertisements during the day. Speaking after delivering an address at the Ghana Farmer Forum in Accra, Senior Regulatory Officer at the Food and Drugs Authority, Juliana Amankwa-Mafo, says the authority has begun engaging stakeholders to find innovative ways of regulating the use of music icons and artists for advertisements.
For instance, we knowing that it's a legal commodity, internationally or worldwide, alcohol is being used or it's accommodated by the World Trade Organization. So you can't just stand up and say we have banned it outright. There are things that you need to put in place. So it's a gradual step. We are trying our best to see what we can do. That's how come we have the late advertisements being shown. But with regards to the stars and all that, it is a gradual thing. Everybody would want to, perhaps brand his or her product. And that is the way forward they are doing, the industry is doing. But there are plans on what we will be doing in the future. Whether it's beneficial to include stars in the advertisements of products of alcohol.
The Farmer Forum is a stakeholder meeting that provided a platform for discussions on drug and substance abuse in the country. Senior psychiatrist at the Accra Psychiatric Hospital, Dr. Amabwedu, has been given an update on the number of cases recorded as a result of substance abuse.
We saw a total of about 1,882 cases of substance-related cases. And then in 2019, the first quarter of 2019, we've already registered, that was in the first quarter, we registered 510 cases.
The forum is expected to come up with a communique on curbing drug abuse menace in the country.
And the central bank has pledged to do its best to drive the rate of financial inclusion in the country. According to the second deputy governor, Elsie Awaji, the rate currently stands at 52%, leaving more room for improvement. Madam Awaji, in an interview, explained that aside the ongoing cleanup in the financial sector, the regulator has instituted some strategies to help improve the financial inclusion gap.
This is a strategy document that has been launched by the Ministry of Finance with a number of implementing agencies, including the Bank of Ghana. And so the strategy is really to further develop our financial system as well as increase financial inclusion. And by that I mean increase in access to financial services for the rank and file of our people. As an implementing body, the Bank of Ghana is very much interested in helping to promote financial inclusion. And we're doing this by ensuring that the institutions that we license to offer financial services are themselves safe and sound and sustainable so that they can also provide meaningful and sustainable services to the people that need them. And so we're regulating and supervising these institutions to make sure they themselves are strong. In addition to that, we continue to engage in public education and in particularly to improve financial literacy.
We're taking a quick break here. We'll be right back. Thanks for staying. Now, farmers in the Amansie South district of the Ashanti region have over 15,000 hectares of land from Galamsey degraded fields for cultivation. The district's agricultural directorate is spearheading a reclamation effort to restore livelihoods lost as a result of years of destruction of by illegal miners. Ohemin Teria in the Ashanti region has more in this report.
Amansie South is one of the areas of wide and pronounced devastation by illegal mining. Under a reclamation project being financed by the district assembly, nitrogen-fixing plants have been introduced to enrich reclaimed land. Vast areas of land have already been put under plantain and yam cultivation with signs of high yield. Authorities want more farmers, especially the youth, to take advantage of the initiative to restore Amansie South as major food basket in the country. John Swansea is the district director of agriculture.
Show it to our South Belt or the farmers that a degraded land is not spoiled. You can still regain it. That is why we are putting in the plantain. And it's not only the plantain that we are going to put in cocoyam, cassava, and most of the crops. So this place will also serve as a learning center for farmers. We bring farmers here to come and learn. Farmers in Manchester South should contact the Assembly and the Agri Department so that those lands that have been destroyed can be reclaimed and put back into agricultural use.
Meanwhile, the Assembly is making available 13,000 oil palm seedlings and other farming equipment to farmers, especially the youth, under the Planting for Food and Export program. William Asante-Bediakon is chief executive.
And these are places where galamsey had been done, and people thought that the land were totally out of use. But I can assure people that when they decide to put the soil back, very soon the soil will revegetate itself, and we can actually use the soil for any, agricultural purposes that we want.
From Kumasi, for Joy News, I'm Interior reporting.
And that wraps up Business Live for tonight. Many thanks for your company. We have more business news when you log on to myjoyonline.com/business. And one of the topical issues still raging on is a controversy brewing between Ghanaian and Nigerian retail traders. The PEF is saying breaching Ghana's laws are not part of ECOWAS treaty, and the cost of electricity up by 11.17% as announced by the PURC earlier in the day. Many thanks for your company. My name is Emmanuel Abuaji. Do enjoy the weekend.